Hello and welcome. You're watching Global Lens from CNBC TV18 Prime Ionic Wealth Studio. I'm Archana Solanki. Let's take a quick look at the headlines first. Fears over AI valuation continues to keep global markets on edge, even as stocks rebound from a 4-day slide. Investors await NVIDIA earnings. Microsoft joins hands with NVIDIA to pour $15 billion into OpenAI's biggest rival, Anthropic, forming a new alliance. US President Donald Trump shrugs off the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and hosts Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the White House. Trump says the Crown Prince knew nothing about the killing and elevates Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally. Several Bangladeshi media outlets claim interim government led by Mohammed Yunus is set to seek Interpol's help to extradite former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. This comes a day after Dhaka court pronounced the death sentence. Right, let's talk about the top story that we are tracking on Global Lens. The United States of America rolled out the red carpet for Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Full honors, red carpet, military flyovers, cannons and a marching band. It was MBS's, as he's called, his first official visit to Washington in over 7 years. Some prominent names were there as well at the state dinner with President Trump and the Saudi Crown Prince. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Apple CEO Tim Cook, and star footballer Cristiano Ronaldo, and, of course, senior US and Saudi officials. So what was the outcome of this high-profile meeting? Let me give you the big headlines, the big takeaways. Number one, Saudi Arabia will invest up to $1 trillion in the United States. This is what Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman told US President Donald Trump during their meeting. The earlier target was $600 billion, but now it's $1 trillion. This is the pledge. However, there's no timeline yet. Number two, US President Donald Trump said he was designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally. The major non-NATO ally designation simply grants military and economic privileges. Number three, the Saudis would get a US security package, and this is a very big and important detail. It includes F-35 stealth fighter jets. This deal is likely to shift the balance of power in the region, strengthening Saudi Arabia as a Middle Eastern powerhouse and the first Arab country to receive the most advanced American fighter jets. Remember, Saudi Arabia has been the biggest buyer of US weapons for years, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Number four, Trump also signed a deal for Saudi Arabia to buy approximately 300 US-made tanks. Number five, that's not all. The meet also witnessed some drama. President Trump ripped into reporters for asking questions about sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and on the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Remember, Khashoggi was a Saudi journalist who was assassinated at the Saudi consulate in 2018. A US intelligence assessment in 2021 determined the Crown Prince had approved the operation that led to Khashoggi's death at the consulate in Istanbul in 2018.
As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Right, to understand these developments better, let me get in a voice that's very important and will add credibility to this discussion. Joining us is Talmiz Ahmad, former Indian ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Oman and the UAE. Sir, thank you so much for making time and speaking with CNBC TV18.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
For the benefit of our viewers, if you could help us understand the significance of this meeting, I'm asking you why, is because Saudi Arabia is now a major non-NATO ally and will get F-35 jets. How
Yes.
significant is this development for the region and for India?
I think wherever Donald Trump is involved, the spectacle is more important than the substance. What you witnessed is a huge drama. You saw the American president, uh, 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 you know, getting very close to his guest, honoring the guest, speaking very warmly of him, defending his record unilaterally. And you had the spectacle of the crown prince leaning back quietly, sitting very cool and calm, and enjoying the spectacle. This is really drama as an end in itself. The substance is much more questionable, both in terms of its delivery and in terms of its value. What you are hearing is first $600 billion were offered when the president went to Saudi Arabia in May. Now we are told it is actually $1 trillion. That is the entire quantum of the Saudi wealth fund, sovereign wealth fund. Now nobody believes these figures. They have a very long way to go. Looking at aircraft, Saudi Arabia has been a very major buyer of American military equipment. Indeed, these purchases are crucial for maintaining the strategic partnership. They are not meant for use. Let us be very clear about it. You have a war in Yemen, which is still ongoing 7, 8 years, and no one can say that the Saudis have been able to defeat the Houthis. These are basically purchases meant to consolidate the bilateral relationship. For the rest, we have a long way to go. Please remember, this has nothing to do with the balance of power. As far as West Asia is concerned, the balance of power is significantly tilted in favor of Israel. Israel is the military hegemon in the region. It has taken on every major entity across the region. It has attacked Syria, it has attacked Lebanon, it has attacked Iraq, it has attacked Iran as well as Yemen, and also it attacked Doha. It has made it very clear that there is no target in West Asia that is outside its scope. Therefore, there is nothing about balance of power here. What you are looking at is the crown prince consolidating his relationship with the American president who loves this spectacle. So let us enjoy the drama as an end in itself.
Right, as you're saying, let's enjoy the drama because there's very little substance. It's all about spectacle. Another important point I wanted to understand from you is that President Trump has dismissed US intelligence linking MBS to the Khashoggi murder, calling it fake news. What do you make of this statement?
I personally wish that this very unpleasant and tragic matter had not been brought up. We are all aware of the facts relating to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi consulate all those years ago in 2018, October 2018. His body has never been found. No satisfactory explanation has been ever given to us. The view that has emerged from Riyadh is that this was a rogue operation of certain unauthorized officials and that the Crown Prince was not aware of it. Various other authorities who are familiar with the country, and in the case of the CIA, have actually investigated the matter, have come to a different conclusion. I think we have gone well beyond this issue. Within a few months of the murder, major world leaders were already cohabiting with the Saudi leader, welcoming him into the Committee of Nations, and there has been no moment in recent times where the Crown Prince has been castigated for this matter. But I did not expect the American president, who is unfamiliar with any of these things, who knows who knows a lot about the about the murder, His own authorities have told him quite a bit that he should have raised this issue and should have so robustly defended the Crown Prince. From the Crown Prince's point of view, he has given a substantial answer. He has said that he knew nothing about it. That's neither here nor there. But he has said it was it was a costly mistake. It was a costly mistake. It is not clear on whose part. Was it the fact that the person was murdered, or that he was exposed, or that no body is available to be delivered to the family members? Whatever it is far more than a costly mistake. It is an absolute tragedy of a very distinguished person and a very substantial commentator on regional and world affairs.
Absolutely. Sir, I want to go back to that point where we spoke about the $1 trillion investment, and I'll try to be blunt about it. As you also said that this is not real money. Is it real money, or is it Saudi Arabia trying to make Trump happy with all the big promises?
See what has happened in the few months that Trump has been in his second term. World leaders have understood what works with him. They know what buttons to push. They know how to pander to him. They pander to his ego. They have recognized that he's an extremely self-absorbed and self-centered individual, that he loves flattery. He loves to be made to feel what a great person I am. And different people have used different techniques to disarm him. From his point of view, from his perspective, he loves authoritarian leaders. They give the impression of extraordinary power, even the capacity for violence. He adores them. There are other leaders whom he absolutely worships because of their wealth. He is, at the end of the day, a real estate dealer from the corridors of New York, and he will never be able to outgrow that persona and that identity.
That's a very important point you mentioned, sir. Another important sort of condition that Mohammed bin Salman said, that he'll normalize relations with Israel only if there is a two-state solution, only if something substantial happens on the Palestine side as well. Do you believe this? Do you think that there will be a solution as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned? Will Saudi Arabia come on board?
Let us be a little objective here. The Americans have desperately wanted the normalization of ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel. They pushed very hard for it. They thought that they were at the edge of achieving it before the Hamas attacked Israel on 7th October 2 years ago. There were reports in the US media. We had not heard the Saudi side. But the Saudis have made it very clear, earlier to the Biden administration and now to the Trump administration, that you need real progress, genuine progress in achieving Palestinian statehood. So kind of posturing that was permitted earlier, where the Israelis would give some lip service, that is not adequate. Arab public opinion is very clear on this subject. And I don't believe any leader, however authoritarian he might be, however powerful he might be, will have the courage to go against the wishes of his people. The people are very clear that the carnage that has been wreaked upon the Palestinian people is not acceptable. And therefore, I don't see any prospect of normalization in the foreseeable future. With regard to the Palestinian issue, that is very clear again. The Palestinians demand a viable sovereign state. There is no indication just yet from the Israeli side that any one of them is seriously looking at this prospect. We had an article from Hariri, the great Israeli scholar, who made the point very substantially that you need, for any progress to be made, you need generosity on both sides. You need fresh thinking on both sides. There has to be a viable solution to the issue on the basis of two states living side by side. There is no indication that this generosity is at all palpable as far as the Israelis are concerned.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for explaining this development to our viewers and the significance of this meeting. Thank you for making time and speaking with us, sir.
I wish you all the best. Thank you.
All right, shifting focus to another big story that we are tracking. US President Donald Trump says he has zeroed in on his pick for the next Federal Reserve chair. Though he didn't reveal who it is, speaking from the Oval Office, Trump also said he would like to fire the current Fed chair, but claimed he was being held back. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who's leading the search, said the shortlist has been narrowed and hoped to conclude the process next month. Contenders include current Fed governors Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman, former Governor Kevin Walsh, White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett, and BlackRock executive Rick Rieder.
Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice.
Who is it?
Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
So we are talking to various people. And, I mean, frankly, I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now.
In other news, the U.S. Congress has approved a bill to release its files on late convicted pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. The Senate unanimously fast-tracked the bill without a formal vote after a near-unanimous vote in the House of Representatives. The legislation will now be sent to President Trump, who has indicated he will sign the bill earlier this week after Trump dismissed the uproar over the government's handling of the case for months. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers has resigned from the board of OpenAI. In a statement by OpenAI Board of Directors, the company accepted Summers' resignation and said, and I quote, "We appreciate his many contributions and the perspective he brought to the board," end of quote. Now, this comes just a day after Summers apologized for his close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Summers was on the OpenAI board since he's been on the board since 2023. He's also on the board of edtech company Skillsoft and financial services firm Santander. President Donald Trump's tariff took a toll on the country's trade in August. Data from the Commerce Department shows that imports dropped 5.1% to over $340 billion. Exports were flat, rising a mere 0.1%. Trade deficit shrank nearly 24% from the previous month as imports fell sharply. The data was delayed due to the government shutdown. All right, it's time for a short break. Coming up on the other side, we put spotlight on Google CEO Sundar Pichai's interview to the BBC, where he said no company is going to be immune, including Google, if AI boom collapses. Stay tuned for that and more. Welcome back to Global Lens. Here's a quick look at other global headlines. At least 19 people were killed in heavy overnight Russian missile and drone attacks in Ukraine's Ternopil. Russian airstrikes on western Ukrainian cities near the Polish border prompted Poland to shut down 2 airports as a precaution. The attacks came as the Ukraine president was due to hold talks with Turkish President Erdogan in efforts to revive peace negotiations with Russia. Reports suggest that US President Trump is working with Moscow on a new 28-point peace roadmap for Ukraine, modeled on his Gaza ceasefire plan. Meta won its antitrust case against Federal Trade Commission. The US agency had accused the company of holding a monopoly in social networking while passing the judgment. The US judge said the commission failed to prove its argument. The case was filed in 2020 when the tech giant acquired Instagram and WhatsApp. From Meta, we move to Amazon. An EU court has dismissed Amazon's request to scrap its designation as a platform that must obey stricter rules. The e-commerce company had challenged provisions of the EU's Digital Services Act that determine which online platforms are labeled very large. Under the Act, firms in that category must do more to tackle illegal and harmful content. Amazon argued that it does not pose any systemic risk and said it will appeal the decision. China has suspended imports of Japanese seafood as the tensions between both countries continue to escalate. In a press briefing today, China's foreign ministry officials said that there is no market for Japanese seafood in the current climate. The ministry has cited Japanese Prime Minister's remarks on major issues like Taiwan as the reason for suspension of seafood imports. This comes soon after Beijing suspended the release of Japanese anime films in China. One person died after a huge fire tore through Oita city in southern Japan, destroying over 170 buildings. The country's largest urban fire in nearly 50 years began Tuesday evening and spread to nearby forests and an uninhabited island, aided by strong winds. All right, and now to another big story that we are tracking today. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, in a conversation with the BBC, said no company is going to be immune, including Google, if AI boom collapses. He further went on to say AI is an extraordinary moment, but acknowledged elements of irrationality in the market. Here's a report on the key highlights from Pichai's interview.
No company will be left unscathed if the artificial intelligence boom collapses. That was the warning from the CEO of Google owner Alphabet, Sundar Pichai. He made the claim during a BBC interview published Tuesday.
No company is going to be immune, including us. If you overinvest, we'll have to work through that phase.
Pichai said he thought Google could cope if a possible bubble burst, and further called the current wave of AI investment an extraordinary moment. While he said there might be some elements of irrationality in the market, Pichai was positive about the future for AI technology.
It's also true when we go through these investment cycles, there are moments we overshoot, right, collectively as an industry. We can look back at the internet right now. There was clearly a lot of excess investment, but none of us would question whether the internet was profound or did it drive a lot of impact. It's fundamentally changed how we work digitally as a society. I expect AI to be the same.
Analysts have heavily discussed whether AI valuations are sustainable. Worries about that have begun to weigh on broader markets in the US, while British policymakers have also flagged bubble risks. Alphabet shares have surged about 46% this year. Investors have bet on its ability to compete with ChatGPT maker OpenAI. Alphabet pledged $6.5 billion in September to invest in the UK's AI infrastructure and research over the next 2 years. Pichai also told the BBC Google would begin training models in Britain.
More news on AI. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence firm xAI is in advanced talks to raise $15 billion in fresh equity at a valuation of $230 billion. Now, reports suggest that terms of the new fundraising were disclosed to investors by Musk's wealth manager last night. The $230 billion valuation is more than a 100% increase from the $113 billion valuation figure, which was disclosed in March. Brookfield Asset Management seeks to raise around $10 billion in equity for its new AI infrastructure fund. As per Wall Street Journal, it has already raised around $5 billion from the likes of Nvidia and Kia. The firm plans to use the fund to build and acquire AI infrastructure worth $100 billion. The AI fund has already made a few investments. All right, let's take a quick look at some trending stories. A painting by Gustav Klimt has sold for a record-breaking $236.4 million, making it the most expensive work of modern art ever sold at auction. The 6-foot-tall portrait of Elizabeth Lederer, painted between 1914 and 1916, went under the hammer in New York after a 20-minute bidding war between 6 buyers. The work features the young heiress, daughter of Klimt's patrons, Dr. Iped, in a Chinese robe. Indonesia's Semeru volcano erupted, sending ash clouds soaring up to 2 kilometers above its peak. The country's volcanology agency has raised the alert level on Java's tallest mountain to the highest. Semeru is one of Indonesia's nearly 130 active volcanoes. Curacao has become the smallest country to ever qualify for the FIFA World Cup. The tiny island nation located in the Caribbean boasts a population of just 1.5 lakh people. Panama and Haiti have also booked their spots in a tense final round of qualifiers. This is Haiti's first qualification since the 1970s, while Panama made their previous World Cup appearance in 2018. Fans of the three nations took to the streets to celebrate. Right on to the final cut this evening, an 18-carat gold toilet created by satirical artist Maurizio Catalan fetched $12.1 million at an auction in New York. As per Catalan, the 101-kilogram toilet titled America satirizes the ultra-rich. A twin to the auction toilet was placed on display at a museum in New York and reportedly offered to Donald Trump during his first term in the White House. Before we wrap, we leave you with these visuals from the auction.
At $10 million, unless we go on. At $10 million, fair warning. At $10 million. That's yours, Cassandra. Sold $10 million to panel 86.